What's up, Drivetrain? We are on another video. It's the off season. Grands is happening this week. Thanksgiving is tomorrow. It's a beautiful day here in Richmond. The dogs are barking. The sun's out. It's great. I've actually got shorts on, but don't let the hat fool you. I got shorts on, but yep. And we got the summertime Vans. Got palm trees on it because summertime is always coming, and I can't wait for it. But today we're gonna take a little off-season jaunt back at these shoes. So I did a video a while back. I'll post it up here. That video is about the MAGPED, the magnetic pedals. Tested them out and they did really well, but I had to customize these shoes. You can see on the bottom, I had to like trim the bottom, and they got these plates that come with them. And in the end, they still felt a little too far forward. So what I wanted to do was take these plates off, talk through. I've got Sorry about that, battery died. Anyway, so we are gonna get back on these shoes. Now, I've got some extra metal actually right here as I'm walking past. I've got various thicknesses of metal and pieces of old stock, and it's down here. I got some pieces like this. So anyway, what I'm gonna do, hello neighbor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these off. Now there's a little plastic thing underneath it. I don't know if you can see it there, but there's a thin piece of metal on the top and then a plastic spacer. And what I'm going to do, that plastic spacer stops. I'm going to end up cutting out more of the shoe, just a little bit more, like one extra little run of the line there. Cut out one run, and then I'm going to make a different metal bracket that is longer by maybe, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch longer. And I'm going to see if that feels better. And I'm just going to take this shape and drill the holes in it, obviously, and see if it's got a little bend to it as well. And I don't know if that will help sit on the magnet better or come off the magnet. I'm not quite sure of all the science behind it. Science! But anyway, so I'm going to work on this, set you guys up, kind of watch what I'm doing. And yeah, we'll see if this works out better, because I'd love to try these next year, 2023, and actually give them a good solid go on the track. Yeah, I feel comfortable on the bike now. It's really dialed in, and we'll just see if these things become a thing for me. Let's go. Obviously, we're going to start out by taking off the existing cleats. We want to save these bolts, so I'm not going to set them down in my mess of stuff on my tool bench here, because it's all like extra stuff that just gets tossed there from job to job. And when you go from job to job and you're in the middle of all kinds of things, it piles up. So, got the metal thing here. I think I'm going to try and just start out doing the metal and extending the metal. I don't think I need to do the full thickness of this plastic thing as well. It's not going to be much longer than this, so the support should stay there. So I'm just going to put these bolts back in here, have them keep this guy right in place. Come back to this in a minute. 4mm Allen wrench, professionally replaced. All right, metal. So the next thing to do, we got to figure out how thick this metal is. So metal guide. Let's see. So if you look at it, you might be able to see here. There's a slight curve to it. You know, it kind of goes like this, a little hump. But I'm going to worry about that for this part. But as I extend it back, I'm not going to continue that curve going. I don't think it's necessary. Looks like it's just under 1/8 of an inch. So let's go find some stock back there that fits this. I'll be right back. Hey, look what we found. This was parts from my custom truck build. It was holding my airbag components. You didn't know I'm doing a custom truck build? Got some videos coming out about that soon. They're actually on an old channel of mine on a previous, well, it's It's actually my bigger channel, but it's all about audio now. So I need to take those videos off of that, bring them over here. I've got a couple videos that I brought over already, but through the winter time, I'm gonna bring those videos over so that we can catch you guys up, because the truck build is kind of part of the drivetrain. Like, the drivetrain on bikes is kind of one thing, but the drivetrain on the cars is another thing. This van, I've got videos about some work I'm doing on this van, but the truck build is pretty sweet. But this was to hold some airbag components, the tank and compressors and stuff like that. But conveniently, this piece of metal here is just a little thicker. It's 1/4 inch, so not 3/16. I'm not worried about the weight there. But look at this. Look how perfect that is width-wise. I'm not even gonna cut this thing down. I'll end up grinding it a little bit to smooth it out. But I think I'm just gonna kind of death wheel some of these, 2 of these to be exact. Pivot some holes in there and make it look pretty on the front, and then I think put a little bend in it and slap them on. Then I need to trim out the shoes like I did in the last video with the Dremel tool. I'm not gonna have you watch that, but good metal, let's get it. All right, so we're starting off, I'm just gonna brush. This stuff's been sitting out here for years now. And I'm just gonna brush this off. The truck is actually at my friend's shop. He's got all the frame. We got a 5.3 LS with a 4L60E transmission, if that means anything to you. That's on the chassis. The chassis is a full airbag suspension. It lays frame on the ground. But it's a 54 Chevy that is gonna go on top. It needs a lot of metal work and then some paint. And so it's at my guy's shop, and he's gonna be doing that work for me. Thank you, Seamus, in case you happen to see this video. Shout out to you. Seamus is also, he rides BMX, his kids ride BMX. He's not quite as active because he's working a bunch. Some on my truck, but mostly on really fancy cars. Anyway, all right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take this thing, stick it on here. I'm gonna scribe the outside up here on the top. Little pick tool. Then I'm gonna scribe the bottom. Then I'm gonna see how much I need to add to it. Again, probably only 1/4 inch at most. Because what I was feeling, let me get the other shoe back. So when I had these on, what I figured out was that the pedal, I would kind of set the pedal here and slide forward, slide my foot back, I mean, on the gate, and that's where I would find the back of the magnet, because I wanted the magnet to be as far back as possible. But sometimes in that method, it wouldn't click all the way onto this. So it was kind of seated, if you can see this, kind of on an angle, the magnet. So I didn't have full contact, which meant I wasn't getting as much support and strength there. When I would get it all the way on, that's when I felt like I was still a little too far back on my toes. That sounds weird to say back on your toes, but you get what I mean. The shoe was back, which put the pressure of the pedal on my toes. Now, it's better than when I started, but I still want to go back a little bit further. So anyway, I'm going to measure how much I want to add. I'll add that. I'll cut it. I'll duplicate it. I'll drill holes. Speed this thing up. All right, we're just going to run the grinder because it was right here. But 2 things, I always protect my hands and my face. I got a face for radio, and we got to keep it that way. So. All right, 2 holes expertly installed. Awesome, so we got our plate made. We've got it rounded on the tops, flat on the bottom. I don't want to grind too much off of this because that's potential magnetic bonding material with the metal. So I am going to try and put that little bit of a hump in it. But first, I'm just going to stick it up to the shoe and see how much we added. Obviously, I haven't cut the shoe out yet, so it's not going to fit 100%. Let's check it. All right, I think this is going to be perfect. I mean, we talked about adding 1 line, so here's the line that was cut. This is the line I'm going to take out. You can see that little red line there. So I'm gonna take that out and look, it falls right in line there. So that's pretty sweet. So I just gotta come straight back, cut that out, then I'll re-glue it. One of the other things that I ran into, the problem now, is that I'm relying a lot on the magnet. The reason I went with the shoe is because I like the fact that it had these ribs to create some traction. I've got an old set of Vans, I'm gonna cut out some sole, and once I get this locked in to the right spot, I'm gonna glue in some extra material like this up here, so that I've got some extra grip for the shoe, for the pedal pegs to actually stick into. But for a magnet though, this is the most important part. Also notice how these things are still sitting up. So I've got to recess that hole. See how it's sitting up a little bit? So I got to recess the hole so that the V shape of this thing drops down in. But that's a good start. The sun is going down, and now I'm remembering that it is November, and I do have a hat on, and legs are getting a little chilly now with the shorts on. So, but I got to go inside and cut these with the Dremel tool in the basement anyway. So that's a convenient time. I'll see you back out here tomorrow. For you, it'll be right. And we're back. Got some completed things. I've got some pedals stuck on shoes. Let me show you what we ended up doing. So we've got these fine looking guys here. And what I did, if you look at this one, you compare it. See, it's just a little longer. So we got two of those now. And you can see how I trimmed out the shoe just a little bit more. And I want to show you one thing that I really am excited about. A while back, when I first started this process, I made some lines on these shoes. I want to make sure I got the correct. Oop, that's, ow, ow. Pinchy, those things are magnetic. So first thing is these magnets, you can see they've got a little Allen bolt in the middle. That's how you take them on and off. But you can tighten them so that they will sit higher or lower according to these pins. And so when I was looking this way, down the back of the shoe, after I have built this new plate, the plate is thicker than the original one, if you remember that. And so it's more flush. When you look at it this way, it's more flush with the actual shoe. So I sunk these magnets in, all four of them, because there's two per pedal. I sunk them in so that when it's on there, you can see the pins are flat into the shoe. So I have some extra grip there, like a flat pedal. The next thing, if you look in the front, if you look through here, you'll see all that white material up there. All that white material means that I have no grip on anything up here. And so my plan is, you got small pins and big pins. Right now I've got big pins up front, and I think I'm gonna put small pins up front. And like I said, I'm gonna cut up an old pair of shoes, and I'm gonna glue in some material kind of like this from some Vans in that white part there. That way I would end up with some grip and some traction, so I could ride them like flats and just have this extra magnet on them. So what I did early on is I put the shoes on my feet, I put the pedals, just some flat pedals on the ground, not these pedals, but flats. And I stood on the pedals where it felt most comfortable. And then I drew a line with a marker, and then I put these pedals on and clipped them on, and I drew a line to see how far back I needed to go. Yeah, so here's a little bit of a mark in there. That one shows how the pedal is now sitting right in line with that mark where I wanted it to be. I think my other shoes, let me see the other one. I think I've got two lines on it. Yeah, so this one you can see has the front line and then the back line. The back line is now where the pedal sits, and the axle, the spindle of the pedal. The front line is where it was sitting early on and before I started the process. So it doesn't seem like a huge difference. I mean, you're only talking 1/4 of an inch, maybe 5/8 of an inch. But in terms of where that pedal sits on your foot, that makes a big difference in how it feels when you're pedaling, when you're going full out, as well as how it feels on your quadriceps, on your leg muscles. So if you're too far onto your toes, that's gonna put a lot of extra weight and strain on your quads. Apparently that's how some people ride. That didn't feel comfortable for me. So we're gonna give these a shot. The last thing that I need to do is take these back off and run some of that shoe goo around inside, which is gonna seal the shoe up. and I'm going to do that at the same time that I put some of that waffle material up here. All right, so I'm going to keep working on those shoes. I'm going to get that stuff put on there, but that's going to be it for this video, because my goal is to get that stuff done, let it dry, and then find a test day where it's not rainy, it's not cold. It's going to be cold because it's November. I don't want it to be rainy. I don't want it to be nasty, but I do want to take it out to the track, do some block starts. I want to just ride around the track, get comfortable with it, and see how it feels before I get on any type of a gate start or anything. So anyway, that's been the experience with these shoes. That's step 2 on the next part in the shoe series. Anyway, that's it. Hey, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you missed the first part of all this and the actual pedal review, I'll put that up here as well as in the description. You can click on that. You can watch that video, and that'll give you more context around what I'm doing with this stuff here. But anyway, it's starting to get chilly out here again because it's November, but we will catch you guys in the next video. That's it. Peace.